Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey friend, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Well, today we're going to look at the second part of verse 2. Really, I guess you could divide this verse into three parts, so maybe we should have called this the C section instead of the B section. But really it's kind of the B section because it's the so here that begins this part kind of divides the verse at this point. Behold, as the eyes of servants look to the hand of their masters, and as the eyes of the maiden looks to the hand of her mistress, so, here's our verse, so our eyes wait upon the Lord our God until he have mercy upon us. Notice that we have here the so, which of course, we're going from similitude to reality. The so is the border between those two. You've got the similitude as the eyes of the servants, as the eyes of the maiden, so our eyes. So he's applying what he's learned or what he's given us from the similitude now to our reality. So our eyes. Now you'll notice that we have eyes once there in verse 1. To you I lift up my eyes. Once in verse 2. Actually, 3 times in verse 2. Behold the eyes of a servant. Again there in verse 2, the eyes of the maiden. And then we have it again here, our eyes. So we have this replayed before us several times. The eyes, I lift up my eyes, O you who dwells in the heavens, the eyes of servants, the eyes of a maiden, so our eyes. So here's what he's trying to teach us is when I lift up my eyes to the heavens, to you who dwell in the heavens, this is what it's like. I'm looking to your hand. I'm looking to your hand to be gracious. And how does graciousness described by the servant and the maidens? Provision, food, clothing, housing, financing, all those things that we need for our daily living. Forgiveness of sins and faults, transgressions, iniquities, because we sin. Redress of grievances, because others sin against us. Sounds just like the Lord's Prayer, doesn't it? Yeah. And we're taught that there's a reward for faithfulness, for waiting, because that's what the servants do, the maiden does. I like the way the King James has that there in verse 2, so our eyes wait. The word wait's not in the Hebrew, but I love the insertion of it here because that's what the servants teach us. Faithfulness and diligence comes with waiting. And so we're waiting. We're rewarded for faithful service. Strong and weak alike are allowed to serve because waiting doesn't take a certain amount of strength. And both are expectant. So when I look to the Lord, I am waiting until he be gracious. And that word gracious or merciful means all the stuff that we just talked about. The provision, the forgiveness, the redress, and all the rest. Anything else that I might conceive of to take to him in prayer, whatever it might be. I've got a problem with a client. I've got a problem with a friend. I had a fella call me today. Or, hey, I'm at a funeral and I'm going to talk to some people about the Lord. Would you pray for me? Well, okay. That's a great prayer to pray, isn't it? Praying for those who are lost, that they might be saved, that the elect, they are hid amongst the lost, might hear the gospel and be awakened and quickened and all the rest. What a wonderful prayer. And so my eyes look to who? Who am I going to make that prayer to? So, for example, my friend calling me and saying, can you pray for me today? I'm going to be telling people about Jesus at a funeral. Who am I going to pray to? Who takes that kind of request? There's only one place. There's only one phone line you can ring, and it happens to be the Lord. So let's look to his hand because he's the only one, friends, that can be merciful to us and address all of our concerns. Join me again tomorrow We'll look at verse 3 here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.